Hello and welcome to Accessory to Thought, your catalyst to deeper thinking. My name's Josh. This is episode 4 of Green Monk Symbolic Analysis. So we left off, Alexei, he's become a man. Happy days. Oh goodness. He's become a man. He's adopted his tradition now. He's doing all the dirty work. He's making soup, he's reading, he's chopping down trees, he's doing all the heavy stuff, maybe not so fun stuff as well. There's a dead horse there. He has to deal with that now because he's embodying his tradition. Happy days. He's a man now. Now, as a man, this is his first time leaving home, probably possibly to venture forth. He's going to raise money for his monastic ways, I suppose. So him and this Alexei and this monk, they go forth out to the general people. Meet some different characters, and they don't seem to be wanting to help him out. So one of the monks sitting down. Not much interest in baskets today. A late frost in the spring and an early frost this fall. I'd wager there'll be more trouble than penniless monks come winter. So he's on high ground, he's looking down, and there's a foreigner in stocks. He's bound. Speaking a foreign language too. He goes down to investigate. What's he saying? Same thing as everyone. After a couple of days in the socks. Water! Water! So this guy, he's got these, if you can see that. He seems to got the markings of this tribe that keeps popping up. So what does Alexei say? Mind if I give him a drink of water? He's trying to trick him. Holds up his fist. Alluding he's going to punch him. Haha, be my guest. And he actually gives him water. He doesn't trick them. Well, he does. He tricks the guards. He actually gives them the water. You want to make a fool out of me? He grabs him. He's not happy. He beats Alexei. And the guards, both the guards join in. They're absolutely going all out on Alexei. They didn't like that. So some of the people are inquiring, isn't that the one of the monks from the monastery beating up beggars and now monks? What did the kid do? Hey, you can't treat a holy man like that. Mind your own business, unless you want to feel the heel of my boots too. Leave him alone, thug. Don't you have better things to do? Bring your boots over here. See this seal? It's the boyar's. It gives me the authority. People are pelting stones at him. Who else wants to try that? Stop! The monk steps in. The child is under my care, but has been mischievous of late. I'm sure these soldiers were only doing their duty in chastising him. Thank you. I'll take him now. I suggest you leave this village now, and do it fast. You can't just leave this we can't just leave this prisoner here. You'll be lucky to leave with your head. So he looks back. These men have my blessing. Let them leave. You got lucky today, heathen, but don't linger around here. It's okay, I can walk. So Alexei's pretty beaten up, battered and bruised, bloodied. You will stay away from him, is that clear? That bully, I'm not afraid of him. Not the guard, the man in the stocks. His people kill the Christians. He was thirsty, and I gave him water. Leave it. You were doing God's work trying to help him, and I am doing God's work by telling you not to go near him again. Why? My life is forfeit to God. You taught me that. You taught me about the blood of the martyrs. It's not your life to throw away. You are part of a brotherhood. Your life and your duty belong to them. We serve God, but we serve him together. Think of them before you so quickly lay your life on the altar. Come, we've a few hours left before sundown, no fly yet to bring back home. Very well. I'm right behind you. And then we leave this scene as he returns home. And I will say, we'll have to stop here, and you better tune in next time, because this is absolutely crazy. Okay. So let's get into the analysis. So, the plot thickens. Let's summarize what's happened so far. Start off, Alexei is here now. Okay. He's a baby. Okay. Next step. He's a young teenager. Okay. He ventures forth out as a teenager. He's still experiencing the world, and he gets distracted. He does some bad things. Okay. He goes down some dark paths, and he didn't answer the questions correctly, the situation correctly. So that was a bad one. Okay. Next step. Okay, it sent him back. It made him look back to his tradition. Okay, and then the monk showed him the tradition. Basically, right, this is who you are. This is where we came from. This is our principle. This is what binds us together. This is home. This is the monastery, and this is where we are now. This is he's going forth, and he's not going to get distracted. He's here for God. He's embodying his tradition, as we've seen in the start of this, right? He's doing all these chores. He's going forth to spread the principle, okay? And that's where we're going. But maybe, But does he do it correctly? Maybe there's another stage in this. Who knows? But that's for next. That's for maybe next time. So what is this? What is this whole situation? So this is home, the monastery. The principle, the place of origin, okay, is where he comes back to when he leaves. And here are the people. Oh dear. He's going down to the people. Now, what does that mean? Okay, he's going down to give the identity to the people, the direction, the principle. Okay, so these are the spiritual leaders. They're giving the meaning to the people. Okay, an example of people doing this, depending on what way you measure it, the British Empire, believe it or not, invaded about 90% of all the countries on Earth. That's crazy. Okay, what were they doing? What exactly were they doing? They were trying at least. Their goal was to unite everyone under the king. Everyone had to be united to the central axis. That's not a straight line. The central axis, axes. Okay, this looks like a Christmas tree. Okay, everyone has to be united to the king. Another completely different example, more loving example, I suppose. Say a family adopts an orphan. The orphan's lost. He has no home. He has no direction. He's no family, no nothing. But all of a sudden, here you go. Here's the principle. Come into our family. And now, he has all the benefits of that. And Jesus, now we all need to look at this through the eyes of through the image of Christ. So, get a new thing. What did Christ do? He came down from heaven to earth. The principle to the multitudes. So, why do we need an identity so bad? What utility has it? What is its purpose? Let me illustrate this for you. So you got the mountain. Say you're down here. Okay, you've got this worldview. You can see everything from down here. Okay, but say you've got this worldview. You can see everything through that worldview. Okay, everything. Oh goodness, what have I done? Oh goodness. Oh no. Sorry. What? Nothing happened. You can see everything through that worldview. It could be Christianity, it could be your family, it could be Marxism. If you are a Marxist, you see everything in terms of economics. Everything is just economic forces. Economic forces are the driving force behind everything. That's you down here. You can't see very much, but you're looking at it through the viewpoint of Marxism. Now, why is this important? It allows you to have this elevated viewpoint. You can see more clearly. The orphan, now when he's identified with his new father, right? He can see the world through the eyes of his father, sort of. He can see more clearly by mere relation. Okay, so I need to point out there is a relationship. That's what allows you to see the world like this. It's the relation. It's like, Father, why is this the thing? How do you do this? How do you change a tire? There's this relationship. You can now see further. Okay, and there's also maybe a drawing up. But anyway, let's continue. Now, so back to the story. We must point out it's not just, okay, we're giving you the principle, we're forcing it onto you. You need to have this principle because we want to gather everyone in, but you need to do this. There's also that was massive. Let me do that again. There's a giving of the principle, but there's the other way around. There is a submitting to the principle. There's a being a body to the principle. There's manifesting the idea. It's obeying your father. And there's a problem here. They don't want to submit to the identity necessarily, and that's manifest in they don't want to give their offerings. They don't want to give their money, or they don't want to sacrifice to that identity. They don't want to be aligned to the principle. Simple as that, and that's a problem. That's the problem that this story is all about. That's again, it's the meta story of this whole narrative. It's the tradition is dying. The principle is losing its body. People aren't following them anymore. That's why they're all old men. That's why Alex is the main character of the story. He's gonna try and fix this issue, uniting heaven and earth. But that's the story. An example of this today, the Canadian trucker strikes. So these truckers, they don't want to hold to the principle of Justin Trudeau, the Canadian Prime Minister. They're like, you know what? We don't like whatever you're following. We will not manifest your principle. We will not be a body to your direction. In all respect, we will look higher. Thank you very much. We will wave the Canadian flag, but we will not submit to you. Thank you very much. And what are they? They're truckers. They're there to say the transport system. What is the transport system? It's the blood of the arteries of a civilization. They cut the blood to the civilization dies. Okay? That's what happens when you don't manifest your tradition. The tradition dies, my friend. That's what's happening. In the orphan example, say the orphan has a disagreement with the father, the new father. You're not even my real dad, he exclaims. You know what? I'm gonna put up with this. You're not my dad. You don't control me, man. Yeah, this is a problem, serious problem. But let's continue on with the story. How does the problem get resolved in this specific scenario? Apologies, my phone ran out of battery, so no more overhead for tonight. I'm very sorry. So you'll just have to listen and imagine. Wow. Imagine. So on to the next part. So Alex is looking down onto the people. He's literally from an elevated position. He's looking down onto the people. He sees the foreigner. He has pity in the foreigner. He goes down, and through a trick he provides living water, causing a great scandal. He's beaten nearly to death, and by his suffering and his identity, the sentiment flips and the foreigner is saved. Just ring any bells, anybody? And he goes back home, up the mountain. Whoa, crazy. Is this not ringing any bells in you guys? This is the narrative of Jesus Christ himself. Now, what I mean by his suffering and his identity? What's his identity? He's identified with the monastery, the holy people. Okay, the people of God, people who concern themselves with spiritual things. He is doing his actions in accordance to the truth. That's his identity, precisely. Okay. Now, here's the thing. He had to trick them. He said, "Mind if I give him a drink of water with a fist? Haha, give me a drink of water. Ha, you'd be my guest." That's what he says. And if imagine that's Jesus Christ, that's what Jesus did. Now, the Jews were expecting, they wanted a flood. Just in the same way Moses split the Red Sea and the flood consumed the pursuing Egyptians. That's what the Jews wanted. They wanted another flood of sorts to wipe out the Romans, to heal in a new era of Israel being on top. And the thing is, through the story, Jesus did give the flood, but it's not this kind of flood. Okay. Through him, he's a fountain of living water. That's what this image is. It fills the world. That's what this image is too. Okay, the four rivers who replenish everything. Where do they come from? Yeah, that's right. What does John 7:36-39 say? On the last day of the feast, the great day, Jesus stood up and cried out, "If anyone thirsts, let him come to me and drink. Whoever believes in me, as the scripture has said, out of his heart will flow rivers of living water." John 4:13. Jesus answered, "Everyone who drinks this water will be thirsty again, but whoever drinks the water I give them, will never thirst. Indeed, the water I give them will become in them a spring of water welling up to eternal life." Well, ladies and gentlemen, looks like Jesus did give the floods, but in a tricky way. He tricked them. Let's be honest, he tricked the Jews. Right, and what... oh goodness, what have I pressed? There we go. No overhead, sadly. And it was a scandal. It was a complete scandal. This is Jesus' story. It was a complete scandal. He wasn't what anyone really expected. In hindsight, he is what we expected, but they didn't see that. Their eyes were blinded. Okay, let's go back to let's draw this whole situation. Oh goodness, what have I pressed? Let's go back to this situation. He comes from home. His principle, heaven, higher ground. He looks down. He sees the lost. It's like the family who's visiting the orphan. He sees that. There's just something about that kid. You have pity on him. Look at him when he's lonesome. He doesn't have a principle. He doesn't know the way. Let's bring him in. Let's give him the identity. He goes down. Jesus goes down from heaven. Okay, to earth. Likewise, Alex, he goes down the elevation, down to the people. He tricks. Through a trick, he brings it. He saves the foreigner. He flips the sentiment of the people, and he returns. Okay, this is a profound story, profound image. It's everywhere. Everywhere, this story. Right, watch my episode about Jonah, Daniel, Noah. All these stories. It's the same story. It's the story of Jesus Christ. They all point to Jesus Christ, whether you like it or not. He provides the water, the nourishing water. And before I go, just a wee bit of symbolic insight, I suppose. Back to Moses again. Moses, he was in the desert. He needed fresh water. What did he do? He struck his staff on wood and flowed water. The same image as this, believe it or not. This is the staff. That cross is the staff that pierces the rock. And it's like he softens the rock, man. The cross is Moses' staff piercing the rock. And this is the image. This is the image of Alex. It's like, what is bleeding? What is bleeding? Why is it? Alex is literally leaking blood everywhere. That's the life-giving water. It's the blood of Christ. What happens when we bleed? We leak. Our walls are permeating. Our blood is coming out. The dirt's coming in. Just think about these things. Think about these things. But I'll leave it there. I'll leave it with this profound image. Both these profound images. Just think about that. Anyway, thank you for listening. On to the next one.